This Saturday, Michigan will play an outdoor hockey game in front of 110,000 fans at the Big House. It's the Big Chill, and it will be a record day for hockey, the largest crowd ever to witness a hockey game. But 9 years ago, this whole trend started on a cold October day in East Lansing in a game dubbed the Cold War. Michigan took on Michigan State, and those who participated will never forget.
That night before and the morning of, it was weird weather. I think it rained the night before, and we came out in the morning. It was rainy, kind of weird weather, and then we walked outside for pregame nap, and at game time, the stars had come out, and it was crystal clear, and it was cold.
And life on the road in the CCHA can include bus rides into small towns to small arenas with no welcoming committee. But that was not the case on this day.
You know what the football players feel like. I mean, it's a cool feeling. I mean, to see all those people there, and they're there to watch you, and they're having a blast. And you know, it was a great experience. And you know, for this game coming up in Michigan, I'm sure it's going to be the same thing.
The weather was like perfect. I think some of the fans were a little bit cold, but I just remember the adrenaline and the feeling around the game, pulling in, and there was tailgating going on. I felt like maybe a Michigan football player that day a little bit. So it was just the energy, I guess, was the biggest thing I remember.
Probably the biggest thing I remember is Red sitting behind the bench and just a sports coat on, and it was, well, I don't know what, 25 degrees, freezing, and he's the only guy in the stadium tough enough to not be cold. I mean, I don't know if he was pretending or not, but I believed him.
But when the puck dropped, there was business to take care of.
It seemed like everything was riding on that game, and we wanted to win that game. They wanted to win the game, and it made for an intense moments out there.
We were winning the game, and it looked like we had it in hand there. And I remember they scored a late goal to tie it up, and you know, it ended up in a tie. And you know, I just remember, you know, just feeling kind of surreal because it was our first college game, and to play it outside like that was just it was really neat.
Those were special goals, big goals, and it was too bad we let them tie it up right at the end there. I still, probably on a weekly basis, send Jed Ortmeyer a text about that turnover in the last shift of that game to let Michigan State tie it 3-all. But anyways, Nystrom was out there too, but he was blowing the zone a bit, and Orts tried to saucer to him. We could have just chipped it out. It's a long story.
But not like you remember it at all.
Yeah, anyways, 3-all. You know, we don't like tying the Sparties. Even tying them isn't fun for us.
It seemed like a 3-3 tie was meant to happen, but you know, it's one of those games where you want to be the one who say, yeah, I remember that game, we won.
Many of these Wolverines have moved on to the NHL and have played in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Did the nerves compare to that day in front of a record crowd?
A lot the same, yeah, a lot the same. It's that anxious anticipation, getting ready for that first puck drop. You know, it's one of those things, the same thing. That was the first game of the year for us, so you've put the work in, and now it's a little bit of the unknown that brings that kind of those nerves. So I would say a lot the same as playing in a big game in the Stanley Cup.
You've played in big games in the NHL. You've played in that game. Were you more nervous for the Cold War than you were for NHL playoff games?
Geez, that's tough to compare. I'd say I was very nervous for that Cold War game just because it's your first college experience, and then I guess the NHL is probably the same type of nervousness. You just don't want to screw up in front of that many people.
For AmGoBlue.com, I'm Doug Karsh.